Do you see my desktop now? Okay. Um, there's a scale on the top of the program that you can choose to see just the slides of the presentation, or you can see a shared screen with my video, or you can see just my video, so you can choose on the bottom. Okay. Something else that I'd like to tell you is my name is Laura. So if you have any questions, please do ask. If you don't understand some words that I say, or because of the English or because of the new words that conscientiology proposes, and I might be forgetting to say something, but I think that's it. So, okay. We are talking today a bit about the differences between dreams and out-of-body experiences. This lecture is a part of Reaprendentia. We are going to talk about a little about this institution. And such topics that we are talking about are what are the dreams and its functions, why do we dream, what is a holosoma, which is a technical new word that this new sciences proposes, what is an OBE or a lucid projection, and how can we know if we are dreaming or having an out-of-the-body experience? How can we distinguish both? So I'm bringing some topics, and the idea is that everyone with their experiences can make the distinguish by themselves. So the basics of our lecture today is based on this principle, which is the disbelief principle. Don't believe in anything. I'm going to ask you not to believe in anything that I'm telling you, not even in what it's on this lecture, on the slides, on the material that you're going to receive after the lecture. Experiment, have your own personal experiences. Okay, so if you think that these ideas are logical, they are worth experimenting, you can check by yourselves and see the results and share them with others, like I'm doing now, for example, with people that are interested on new ideas. Okay? I don't know how to see the chat. Let me try. So, Reaprendentia is one of the 25th non-profit and non-religious. This is important. We are institutions that are not religious. Let me try to put my camera on. Yeah, I don't know how to do it. Okay, so we are a scientific institution that's trying to study, I don't know, things that go beyond physical dimension. And so we are non-profit and non-religious. We work based on volunteer work. And all these 25 institutions, they have each one a different specialty. This one that I am in here today is based on consciential education. The idea is that every person, every human being is a consciousness, not has consciousness, but is a consciousness. And well, we've been learning many things throughout many lives. And sometimes the things that we've learned before don't apply any longer. So we have to re-educate ourselves. We have to unlearn what we've learned, and we have to learn new things. If I'm going too fast, then please try to communicate, okay? And turn on your microphones, or please say something. So conscientiology is different from Scientology. Conscientiology is a science that wants to study or bases the studies on consciousness. We consider having multiple bodies or multiple vehicles of manifestation. So I don't know if you have had or noticed that we are not just our bodies. We have energy, we exchange energies with environments, with places and people. We also have an emotional body and a mental body that we're going to see further on this lecture. Conscientiology also study multiple lives, and also this process of evoluting or evolving through many lives, and studies the parapsychism and self-research, themes that have been studied for many years, but in a more religious way. So the idea now is to study these subjects on a scientific way, and also to include the researcher on the experiments. So, for example, when I experience, when I make an experiment, I always impact the results of the experiments, but all the sciences, they don't take into consideration the person who is the researcher. So conscientiology thinks that the most important subject to study in the whole universe is the consciousness, the person by itself. It's a science that was proposed by a man called Valdo Vieira. He was a doctor. He wrote Projectiology, which is a treatise, a book with more than 1,000 pages, you can see here. 2,000 references on projectiology, on the projection of the consciousness outside of the body, or the exteriorization of the spirit or the soul outside of the body. Also, you can find many references there on parapsychism, on OBEs. So it's, if you want to deepen your studies, it's a good book to have. And as we talked before, Reaprendentia has two main units. One is this one that I am in right now in Foz do Iguaçu in Brazil, and the other one is in the USA in Florida. They also have activities in London, in Germany, and Finland and Romania, which is nice because if you want to continue the studies and if you are interested in these ideas, you can maybe find a group and continue your studies and your experimentations there. Okay? I'll be always back here to see if you're writing something, okay? What is a dream? Have you ever wondered why do we dream? What is a dream? We lay there sleeping and having imaginative images. And why is that? Well, dreaming is this intermediate state between the awakeness state, like we are here now, and the state of natural sleep. Our organisms, they are synchronized with the rhythm of the earth. So every organism knows through the photoreceptors that we have in our brains when the light is off, and we read this as a sign that we should go to sleep, we should rest. We'll further see the theories that try to explain why do we need to rest, why our organisms need this resting time. If our brains don't stop never to function, for example, why do we need to sleep? So dreaming is this state that is characterized by a group of ideas there are these sequences of more or less coherent images that are presented to the consciousness or to the person, the ego, the self in sleep. It is an altered state of the consciousness. So I don't know if you have had any experiences during your dreams where the images or the situations were kind of strange. They didn't really match the reality, or you were acting as you wouldn't when you were awake. That's a kind of imaginative state of the consciousness. Well, Vieira tells us that every person dreams 4 or 5 periods per night. That means 25 of the sleeping time of sleep, and you have 1,000 dreams per year, and you spend 4 hours of your lifetime, like a medium lifetime dreaming. So that's a lot of time to spend having imaginative experiences. It also tells us that the first dream of the night starts just about 10 minutes after falling asleep. So it's not an experience that you just lay down on the bed and you start to have. Because if you go and if you study the cycle of the sleeping time or the phases of the sleep, you with the time passing, you deepen with the phases of sleep, and you only dream when you get to the profound state of rapid eye movement. That's when you dream. Okay, it is important because if you have an OBE, that can happen right after you fall asleep, and a dream cannot. So it's one of the variables that you can take into consideration to distinguish a dream and a lucid out of the body experience. Also, the last dream we have during the night is more often remembered, the one right before we wake up. Okay. Do make questions if you have any. So, at least 11 effects or characteristics of the sleeping and dreaming states can be found, like, for example, extra-physical hallucinations. Here we have extra-physical, meaning that everything that happens outside of the body or in a dimension that's not physical. Also, dreams bring strange associations to the extra-physical reality. Sometimes you associate an idea with another that has no logic at all during your dreams. Also, dreams bring imaginative creations, misplaced additional data. For example, you see an image and there's a gap, and then you see the continuation. The tendency of the brain is to fulfill this gap with sometimes misplaced data. Also, there's oftenly mental dissimulations and psychological frames. For example, the events that happen during the dream are often very emotional, and there's an impact on our emotional vehicles. Physiological and organic reflexes. For example, if you lay over your arm, that can reflect on the dream that you are having. For example, you might dream that your arm is hurting, but it's actually just an organic reflex. And there are also intercurrent dreams. I see someone new there. Hello. Hi, Joe and Glaucia. Can you hear me? Okay, so we're just talking of what are dreams and why do we dream, okay? We are seeing that dreams have these imaginative images that are more or less coherent. Often they are very strange, there has no logic at all, very emotional impact on the person who is dreaming. And we also saw that we dream 4 or 5 times per night, 25% of the time of the sleeping time. And we have like 1,000 dreams per year, which is a lot. Spending 4 years dreaming, it's a lot. So here I brought some theories of why we dream. There are many, but I thought these are interesting to distinguish dreams and OBEs. Oh, some theories say that we dream to encode short-term memories into long terms to consolidate memories, okay? Because dreams relate to the very recent facts of our lives, of the lives of the person who dreams. So to transform or to encode this very recent data into long-term memories, it's needed to, well, shorten the activities and sleep and dream while that. Also, some theories say that we dream to get rid of the brain's unuseful synaptical connections, okay, to undo all the connections that aren't very necessary to the survival. Others say that it's to consolidate what we've learned and also to process painful and difficult situations that we couldn't process or we couldn't understand while in the awakened state. There's this very interesting theory on threat simulation, theory of the dream, that says that we dream to prepare ourselves to face situations that are in somehow that somehow threaten us. And there are many others to explain why we dream. So these imaginative images that we see on dreams, they are called, we can call them oneiric or dreamlike images, and they are often, as I said, associated to the last hours of our experience. That is another important variable to distinguish between dreams and OBEs, because if you had an out of the body experience that relates to the very recent facts of your life, and depending of what type of experience was that and how the dream was being processed with related to this experience, it could be a dream, but it also could be an OBE. It's not just one variable that is going to explain, oh no, this was a dream, or oh no, this was an out of body experience. You have to take into consideration many variables. Even if these experiences were dream-like images, it is important to take into consideration, because it means that your mental activity is processing some information that is important, and that maybe in this content there is some content that you haven't been able to process and to understand during life, the awakening state. Okay, let me check if someone said anything. Okay, do you have any doubts? If you have any doubt, you can turn on your microphone, okay? Just to remember. So here we get an idea proposed by conscientiology. It's a hypothesis that every person has an holosoma, which is it's a word that comes from the Greek holo, which means all or every or entire, and soma, which is vehicle or body. So it's all the bodies of a consciousness or of a person. Okay, so while I'm talking here with you, I'm not just manifesting myself through the soma, through my body, my physical body, but I also am exchanging and moving my energies and exchanging energies with this environment which I'm in and with you guys that are on this lecture. And also I have an emotional body and a mental body, as we talked before. So in this person here laying down on the bed, we see that the person has a physical body, or a soma, we call soma. It is evolved, or I don't know, it's surrounded by an energetical body that connects the physical body to an extra physical body we call psychosoma. And this body is the emotional body, tends to concentrate our emotions. It is the body through which we manifest ourselves in extra physical dimensions. Okay, so it was called the spirit, the soul, and here in conscienciology we call the psychosoma. And we also have a mental body here represented, of course, figuratively with with a ball, but it is a mental body that doesn't have any form. It's formless. It's connected with our parabrain, which is a brain that is located on our extra physical psychosoma, with our extra physical body. And of course, when we are awake, all these bodies, they are, as you say, inside one another. They are connected. Okay, so as we're going to see, when we sleep, these bodies get out of the coincidence state. They don't disconnect completely, but they can move away one from another. What do you think about this idea? Does it has any logic to you? Have you experienced any similar, I don't know, feeling that you were getting out of the physical body? Okay. Yeah, as I told you, here Vieira tells us that, brings us this idea that every human being, when goes to sleep, even though conscious or not, gets out of the state of coincidence of its vehicles of manifestation. So even though we are not aware, when we sleep, even if we continues to sleep on top of our bodies, we get out of the physical body. We get discoincided. Um, our vehicles get out of the coincidence state. He says it's a physiological thing. Every human being does it naturally. And here is when you can get lucid, get conscious, you have experiences out of your physical body. So OBEs are all these experiences that we have when we get out of the physical body, everything that goes beyond the physical body or beyond the physical dimensions. So let me just explain something. Why do we need many vehicles of manifestation? It's because every dimension has a pattern of vibration, a frequency of vibration, and we can't manifest ourselves with a in the extra physical dimension with the soma or the physical body because it's a dense vehicle. So we need lighter vehicles to manifest ourselves according to the frequency of the dimensions. Okay. So have you ever dreamed of flying, for example, on top of a city or on top of your own body? Or in your room, something like that? Or have you ever dreamed of meeting someone who already died, for example, and talked to the person about something logical, exchanged ideas? Maybe have you ever done an action together with someone that you have known in the past? Or have you ever even met your pets outside of your body, in a dream, for example, or that you weren't sure if it was an OBE? Well, this could be indicators that you were actually having a lucid projection. A lucid projection is a technical term proposed by conscientiology that tries to explain these phenomena of the conscious, of the conscious or lucid exteriorization, or putting outside of your, getting outside of your physical body that's laying sometimes on the bed or on a sofa. Through this experience, you can watch your body laying down over there from another dimension, from another point of view. It can be caused naturally, as we saw that everyone who sleeps at night has the natural conscious or unconscious exteriorization. It can also be caused by endogenous factors like, for example, chemical reactions, diseases, for example, when there are many studies nowadays that try to explain the OBEs that people have in hospitals during surgeries. Sometimes people are in coma, but they are aware of everything that happens, and intraphysically or physically they couldn't explain how the person knew everything that happened to him or to her while the surgery was happening. But when you look from a multidimensional point of view, you cannot explain that the person maybe was projected observing everything that was happening. And it also can be caused by exogenous factors or agents, or by the person's own will. Yeah, like if you apply some techniques, for example, in the book that I told you before, Projectiology, we have more than 20 techniques to the person to experiment and try to get out of the body lucidly, and or invent new ones that will work for you. It's important to say that the agent that will cause the projection will determine its quality, the quality of the lucidity or the the quality of the conscientiality that you will have outside of the body. For example, some people used to use drugs, for example, to cause projection, and maybe they can get outside of the body, but the quality of their lucidity outside of the body is going to be very lower if compared to applying a technique such as the vibrational state, for example, to get out of the body. Okay? What do you think about these ideas? Do you have any doubt? Okay. Well, I'm going to try to say your name, okay? So don't get mad at me. But Konstantinos, do you register your experiences to compare them, or maybe to try and, cause them by yourself, for example? If you register the experiences that you have, even though they are not much, but if you register them like writing what happens. Yes. If you don't understand my English, please. Ah, you have a dream calendar. That's nice, yes, because then you maybe distinguish a bit better by writing. Let me see if you said anything. Okay. Yeah, so let's continue. Um, in this book, Vieira tells that at least one dream per night, every night, is actually a lucid projection. So it's an interesting thought because, well, sometimes people say, no, it was just a dream, I won't register. But if you register most of your dreams, maybe one of them can be a lucid projection. Or for example, if you just remember your last dream, you can start registering from that dream and then remembering all of the others. Okay. Okay, so this idea here is that the more you experiment lucid out of the body experiences, the more your dreams become more rational and less incoherent. So it's a tendency that we have. The more lucid projections or the more lucid OBs that we have, our dreams tend to lessen the oneiric or the imaginative images, and we become more lucid outside of the physical body. So how can you distinguish the dreams from, projections outside of the human body? Well, first, registering, as I said many times, but also I brought some parallels on projectology. You could see 32 parallels between dreams and lucid projections. I brought just some of them for us to take a look, okay? So let's see. So, for example, in the beginning, as I said, dreams don't start right when you fall asleep. They take at least 10 minutes to start, and it takes into consideration the stages of the sleep. While lucid projections can be a self-conscious experience, you can just lay down on the bed and never lose consciousness. Since the time that you were falling asleep, you can feel your psychosoma getting out of the body with lucidity and have experiences outside of the body, lucid as well. So you can never lose in a scale your self-consciousness during this process of getting outside of the physical body. The vibrational state as well, there are nothing similar in dreams that are, well, have never been related. You never, usually never dream of being in a very intense vibrational state or feeling a vibrational state while you are dreaming, which is a peculiar and unique phenomenon that occurs sometimes before and sometimes after a lucid projection, depending on the experience that you have outside of your body. Another variable that we can take into consideration is that sometimes when you are getting out of the body, you hear very loud noises that looks like it is a environmental sound that's very loud, but sometimes can be just intracranial sounds that happen inside of your brain when the two vehicles are getting apart. That is to say, even though just not permanently, just temporarily. But this coincidence of the vehicles can make these intracranial sounds. And dreaming, it doesn't happen because, as we'll see, we dream inside the brain. Dreams are a result of the brain activity. Well, during the takeoff is this event or this phenomenon of getting outside of the human body. It's during the dream you don't have any feelings that you are going out of your body, of your physical body. And in lucid projections, this could be a self-conscious experience that happens. Well, dreams are made also of oneiric images that are not self-determined. I don't know if you had any experience while dreaming that you've saw yourself doing things that would never have done if you were awake, if you were lucid. And during dreams, the person is just taken by the events that are happening. While in lucid projections, it's different. The person is aware and the person thinks before acting, for example, or controls the results of their actions and interacts with the events lucidly. There is another variable, for example, that in dreams the critical judgment and the reasoning is very lower or is totally absent. So, as he says here, even the most absurd events are accepted easily because of the reasoning and the critical judgment is absent. While in lucid projection, no, we see that the person continues to be reasonable, to be very common that these faculties are even expanded beyond the common possibilities, right? So sometimes I've had the experiences of being outside of the body, and I could access many more information that I could ever remember when I were awake. While someone was talking to me, was asking me something, I was consulting my memory, and I could remember much more things than I usually can when I'm awake. So it's a common variable to take into consideration. Also, during the dreams, there is no time or clear or immediate consistence of the experiences. So sometimes in the dream it all mixes up, and during the lucid projection, no, the person is rational, and the person has inner certain that the body is laying back on the bed. Well, I've also had an experience where I was getting outside of my body, and I knew it was sleeping back there. And then I made a command to go into my living room, and then I got back when I wanted. So the critical judgment and the will of the person is present, and the person knows. It's because of conscientiology is a science of self-research. The proof that a person was outside of the body is just a self comprovement. I don't know how to say that. Only the person can really knows if the person was or not outside of the body. And with the experiences and with the registering of these experiences, you can compare them and create patterns to see if you really were or not. Is it okay? Am I talking too much? Yeah. Okay. So another idea is that the dreamer does not remember about the physical state, the physical visual awakened state. Sometimes you're not there just dreaming and remembering, oh, but when I'm here dreaming, but there is the awakened state. No, you just dream and you're there living the events like they were natural. While in the lucid projection, no, the projector or the person who is projected, he still know that, well, I'm outside of the body and I have memories of the physical state. When I'll be awake, it will be different. And with the time, you get more lucid outside of the body and you start differentiating, no, I'm not awake, but I know that when I get back to my body, I'll return to the awakened state. Okay? Also, in the dreams, we have those oneiric, fantasized results from the creations of the person who sleeps. But in the lucid projection, they happen in very defined environments and it dispenses interpretations. It's independent from the creativity of the person. They are parafacts. They are facts that happen in the extra physical dimension. Dreams are also, you cannot tell yourself before sleeping, no, while I'm dreaming, I want to get to Brazil, for example. You can't do that. But with a lucid projection, you can plan a place that you want to reach. Or, for example, you can plan someone that you want to talk to. And you can also meet this person extra physically or attain any goals that you have previously planned. Well, we have many others. Let's see here. The dreams happen inside the brain, as I said, and a lucid projection is an experience where the person gets out of the body. There is this consciential self-bilocation. That means that the person, the consciousness, is connected to the physical body, but also projected outside of this physical body and outside of the intraphysical dimension. Also, in lucid projections, it allows the experience of being back inside of the body. That is, with your psychosoma, you interiorize, you get inside of your physical body while awaken. And if you pass this experience lucidly, it cannot be confused with dreams, because when you awake from the dreams, it's not the same feeling as getting inside of your body. Also, during the dreams, you don't have energetical feelings like you are having energetical baths, that you are exchanging energies with people, while you can have so during lucid projections. In lucid projections, we also have lucid meetings with intraphysical, that mean them, or extraphysical. Intraphysical means that people who are still alive, and the way we know it intraphysically, that means that people who still have the soma, the physical body. We can also meet people that are extra physical consciousness now. That means people who died or who dispensed the physical body as we live in right now. So these are the main parallels that I brought to you. After the lecture, I will send all this material to you. You can study them with more calm. But we can review here that mainly the differences between dreams and out of the body experiences is our awareness, the way that you are aware of the facts and of the people, the surroundings. Also, the timing, the organization of how the time passes and how you interact with the events and the time that the events happen are different. Clothing, for example, sometimes during the dreams you don't observe yourself wearing clothes or how your body moves or feels. And in the lucid projection, you can observe or you can even change how you look, how you are dressed, only by a mental command, for example. Also, the vehicles, the dreams happen inside of the physical body and the OBEs happen outside of the body, the physical body. Your attitudes are different. For example, in a dream, you just go by the flow, and in the lucid projection, you have a strong will, you know what's happening sometimes. You still preserve your judgment and you command how the events go by. and energies. You don't interact energetically with people while you are dreaming. So if any energetical exchange is involved, you can think that maybe it's hypothetically that could be a lucid projection. Okay. And also, if you are in doubt after registering the experience, you can observe um, the following days. Okay. Not just how the experience was, but how you felt, not just on the moment, but on the days that followed all this experience. For example, if you were in a very bad moment and you had a great experience outside of your body, and you felt good on the following days, it could be an experience outside of the physical body, because the repercussions or the following facts were different. They changed. Your life was one before, and after that experience, your life was another. So it's an indicator that it wasn't just a dream, a mere dream. It could have been an outside of the body experience. Okay, so any experience that you have while you are sleeping that changed positively your life, had a great impact on the people around you, for example, that it's an indicator that could be a real, a logical, lucid outside of the body experience. Okay, so this is the reference of the book I told you before, Projectiology. If you can look at the internet for it. If you want to know more, this is just an hour lecture for you to get familiar with the terms. And do you have any doubt? Let me see if you have any doubt. Yes, a lucid projection is a type of out of the body experience, a type of OBE. Yeah, it is a technical term proposed by conscientiology, because you can have OBEs are very associated to those experiences of near-death experiences. Sometimes the OBEs are not lucid, are not conscious. So to make that clear, Vieira proposed this technical term, that the vehicle that projects itself outside another vehicle. Is it clear? Okay.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can two people meet in lucid projection and be lucid about meeting and remember what they've talked or did in the meeting?
Yes, yes, they can. That is a way of confirming that a lucid projection exists. For example, two people, they combine a place to meet outside of the physical body, and then on the other day they try to say, "Oh, did you remember anything?" And what did we talk about? If both the people remember, then it's kind of a confirmation that this phenomenon exists.
Have you experienced such phenomena?
Well, I've experienced how can I say, parts. I didn't remember the complete experience, but sometimes I've had some dreams that I were in a place. For example, I was in a course with a team, and I remembered I went to a place during the night and they were there too. And when I got to the course on the other day, I asked and they said, "Oh, yeah, I dreamed about that as well." And so sometimes you don't remember the whole experience, but you felt like you were there, for example, or you remember a fractal of the experience. Yes.
Thanks.
No problem. What about the other guys? Let me see. Glaucia. So have you ever dreamed, I don't know if that you were talking in another language or being in a place that you've never went before?
Yes, I've dreamt about that, but it was in the woods. I can't tell it was if I was there or not. The woods is maybe the same everywhere.
Okay, you couldn't differentiate if it was a dream or a projection.
In that dream about it, um, something bad was going to happen, and a voice in the woods. I didn't see anyone. Just told me about what was going on, and then I waked up. I don't know if it was a. I think it was a dream, not a.
There is a technique also to distinguish, but while you are having the experience, which is you can program yourself before sleeping that when you are outside of the body, you can ask, am I sleeping or am I awake? And then you can also ask this question during the awakening state to see how you feel inside when you are awake and how you feel outside of the body. And then you get lucid outside of the body. For example, if you remember to ask yourself while you are having the OBE, the question. Okay. And do you feel the energies of the place, Constantinos? There's another technique that I've just remembered that I'd like to tell you guys is whenever you see yourself doing something that you know the physical body cannot do, for example, flying, we know that the physical body can't fly. So you program yourself mentally to be awake or to be aware that when you are flying, it's because you are having an outside of the body experience. Okay, so for example, or if you are on top of a building that you never go, you will know that that's not a physical experience. It is just a way of becoming more aware. Ah, okay, you remember vividly. Yeah, energies, I mean, is when you go to to a forest, for example, and you feel more alive. You feel that you feel very good when you are in there. So it could be an indication that the energies of that place, the environment of that place nurtures your not just your physical body, but also your energetical body. And that's what energies exchange means. What else would you like to know? What did you think about conscientiology or the purpose of studying multiple lives as well?
Um, I've think about it even in the past, and I'm quite interested about it. but I have a lot going on now, and I don't know when. For now, I think I'll just try to exercise OBs with techniques that I found in some books for starters. But in the
Yes.
future, in the near future, I think that I would go see about conscientology here in. You said it was a center here in Romania, I think, no?
Yes. It's a group, actually, I think, that studies conscientiology. It's good because maybe they have courses that teach some techniques um, for the projection outside of the physical body. So,
I've heard about a group, but I don't know if it is the same. They were practicing OBs with a candle, uh, a lighted candle.
uh,
I don't know the technique
uh,
exactly.
I saw the technique. You put a candle in a dark room and you try to reach the candle. You try to get out, project outside of the body by trying to reach the candle, isn't it?
I think that's about it. Yes, the technique.
Yeah, this technique is one of the ones that is in the book I showed you guys.
I'll surely look upon the book. Can I ask you one off topic about dream question? Maybe
Yes.
it's. Um, I've had dreams like being eaten by wolf or something like that, and wake up instantly when the the bad thing happened, and I thought I felt it, the spot where I got beaten or something bad happened. I felt vibration or something like that. Is it
So
possible? Is it
let me
possible to
sorry,
come back?
say.
Is it possible to come back from dreams with trauma or repair? I don't know. Is it any risk about OBEs like this, for example?
Okay. Yeah, this is one thing I haven't mentioned is the qualities of the experiences that you're going to have outside of the body can be related to the kind of thoughts, the emotions that you are experiencing before, or even the environment in which you are located in, or the kind of, for example, objects that you have in your house, stuff like that. So, um, because realities are energetical, they connect through affinity. Yeah, the same frequencies of energy, they are alike, and you can attract, for example, some consciousnesses that aren't in the intraphysical dimension, and that they get the same pattern of an energy. So yes, it's possible that you have, for example, attacks during your sleep. But you can also, during these attacks, try to assist the other person, try to help the other consciousness by exteriorizing the best energies and wishing that the best happens to that person. And you can also do this before you go to an OBE, right? Before sleeping, you can try to provoke by using a technique of moving your energies upside down with your will, and installing a field of energy that with your best energies, your best thoughts, your best emotions, so that you can have benefic, a positive experience outside of your body. And it also depends on the intention that you want to project yourself outside of the physical body. All these variables will result will impact the quality of the experience that you have. Yes.
Okay. Um, um, one more great question. What things can you do in OB? Like, why do people want to get into OB? For me, it's for
Um,
curiosity, as starters. But
mhm.
someone put me this question, and it's a good question. Why? What can you do in OBs to improve maybe your life, or to what can you do in besides just
Yes.
having fun?
Right. You can help other people, or you can, yes, know yourself. You can reach information about yourself, about some other people that you wouldn't have access in the intraphysical dimension, but that will also depend on your intentions to use these informations, of course, but mainly because we are naturally extra physical consciousnesses. We aren't the body. We just come into this dimension for very specific purposes. Of course, each person has their purpose. Some people have a life program to execute, to make during a lifetime, right? Mainly you can remember, for example, if you have planned something to do in your life before being born, while you are projected, you can remember that. And when you get back to the body, to the physical body, you can apply that to your daily life, for example, and you can, be successful on your program. Well, that and assistance, I think, is the main objective, or that the projection is proposed to assist other people to go to places where people need help. And while you're doing that, you are learning to be an assistant. You can be more lucid. I think that's the main point of being projected.
I think you just gave me a new objective for hobbies. Learning about the
Okay.
purpose.
Yes. So yeah, write to us to see if it worked. Well, is everyone listening to me?
I am.
We are finishing the lecture now. Um, I'd like to thank you all for the participation. Okay, if you have any further doubt or any idea that you want to exchange with me or with us, just please send an email. Okay, and I'll stop recording